Yeah, hello! What's good, everybody? It's your boy Romanpuss here with the S-Bear Kuma clone version guide. Now, he is a middle of the pack unit. Honestly, if I'm going to give him a solid rating, it's going to be like a 5 out of 10. He's not insane. He can destroy the colors he's strong against, but he gets destroyed by so many units in the game that there will be times where you're like, is this useful? And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so as usual, if you have not familiarized yourself with his skills and his traits, please read over those. And make sure you kind of know what's going on, as I won't directly be referencing those in this video. But without further ado, let's get started. First things first is the stat recommendations. Now, there's too many skills that ignore defense, and sometimes it's worth it for units, but in this case, I don't think it is at all. So I strongly recommend probably going full attack and HP. That includes 70% HP, 70% attack, which will leave you with 4 and 4 slots if you're using 18% trait medals, and leaves the last slot probably top out with an extra flat 160 extra attack if you want to go that route. Otherwise, you can do an extra 640 HP. You get those flat medals at the end of the season rewards if you want to utilize those. Other than that, I think that's just the only route that you should go with him. So HP attack seems solid. You can go defense if you really want to. It'll help you kill S snakes probably a little bit better, but I don't think it's necessary. Now let's talk about some tips and strategy. Honestly, I hate when they do this in games unless you're literally a class-changing unit, but they built this as an attacker, and he should have been, and his kit is basically geared towards being a defender. He should have been a green defender from the very start. Obviously, we got Stussy and we got Lilith, and I think those two pretty much took up his slot for green defender because that is way too many at this point. So I am disappointed that he's not, but without further ado, play him just as a defender. That's basically what his role actually should be. You just don't charge flags quickly. Now, your traits work on any flags, so keep in mind when you have damage increase, you have all that stuff, you can use it on any flag. It doesn't have to be yours, it doesn't have to be the enemy's. You can use it whenever, wherever, as long as it's a flag. Then, remember, you're basically glass cannon without your flames. I don't even know if you fully fulfill the cannon part, but you're basically a glass something. You do a good amount of damage, I mustn't lie, but you make sure you have your flames, make sure you have that third basic attack or your skill 2. Any time you knock back, that's when you'll have your flames on your back, so make sure you have those as you're playing him, and that's when you'll be protected. Watch out for people who have multi-hit abilities like Jabra or EX Lucci. Let's talk about some pros for S-Bear. Now, he does have some things hurting him, but he has some things helping him. So first thing is, as I said earlier, he doesn't need to be on enemy flag. Like, he can be on his own flag to do all the damage and do all the stuff that he needs to. He's also invincible for the 3 hits after he gets a knockback, which is that flame on his back, as I mentioned earlier as well. He's able, honestly, this is a unique skill only to Brûlé up until this point, but now S-Bear can do it as well. But he can send enemies back to the spawn. Bandai highly treasures this trait, and I think it is pretty good on certain maps, like maybe Saba Odi Day or Fishman Island, things that are really long, and it's a really long ways back to get back to a specific flag. I think it can work well. And you get extra cooldown for that too. You get 50% cooldown on your skill 1 as long as you just hit it. So if you hit 2 people, you can use it directly again, which is awesome. Next, your skill 2 ignores objects and walls and damage reduction. So you can use that and annihilate a lot of things. The only things that are going to not take very much damage from that is people with fat defense buffs. So just watch out. We'll have a Blue Kaido joining the meta soon, so he'll be able to tank you. But other than that, I think you'll be cooking. Then you can also, I kind of mentioned this earlier, you can spam your skill 1 if you just hit 2+ people. So you'll be able to use it. You'll be able to use it again. You can just send everyone back to their spawn. Alright, now let's talk about the cons. His kit, as I said earlier, is conflicting. He's basically a defender, but is bad at charging flags. So he has the damage. He's probably got the damage of an attacker, I would say. A little bit less, but mostly resolves around staying on the flag, because you're made to protect your flag from runners. Now, other attackers can easily destroy you is the problem, and honestly, potentially defenders, depending on who you're fighting. But yeah, obviously that, and you're squishy without your invincibility, so if you don't have your flames, you're very vulnerable. So at the beginning of the game, someone can just walk out and one-shot you very easily. And kind of lastly, like, these are just overall general cons. Like, I guess he does have like multi-hitters is a con, but that's kind of like a thing that counters you. We'll get into that in the character counters in a little bit, but you're kind of just lacking the overall oomph that other meta characters have. You're only really like a god against characters that you have a color advantage against, which is dark units and blue units, but even some of those can easily destroy you, so you gotta watch out for those. Now let's talk about the characters you counter. I think these are just the top ones. Is things like S Snake you can destroy just because you can't be petrified by her. You can do a good amount of damage. You can send her back to her spawn, but odds are she's going to be able to teleport back to the flag you're on if it's the farthest one from her spawn, so just watch out for that. But it is nice to put her skills on cooldown even if she does teleport back, so you'll have a good advantage there. But you can easily just destroy her with your basic attacks, even if you don't have your invincibility up. She actually doesn't do too much, and you can keep healing off of her. The next one is Dark Roger, so you can destroy him pretty easily. You get the heals. As I said, your strongest, colors your strongest, which is dark and blue. So you can destroy a lot of those. Overall, I think most dark blue units you can do very well against. So keep that in mind when you're playing him. Anything that's red, anything that's light, you need to be very careful of. Now, Shanks, EX Light Runner Shanks, can be very tricky, but you can win the fights. You just got to be careful and be smart with it. Now let's talk about the Esper counters. Who counters him and why? Now, a lot of things can destroy him, especially the ones in the meta. The most noteworthy and things you got to be careful of. Honestly, you're always vulnerable at the beginning of the game as long as you don't have your flames. So anyone can basically kill you then. But if you do have your flamed invincibility, even people like Jabra, EX Lucci, I said earlier, watch out for Shanks because he's got those are all multi-hitter units that can destroy your flames in like a couple buttons, and then you hit you with your skills, even with their skills. Like Jabra's 10-hit kill, skill 1, whatever that is, that thing can annihilate you, so you gotta watch out for that. So be careful of those characters. EXs tend to be a thing. Whitebeard, EX Light Whitebeard can be very tricky as well because you don't have the status effect immunity to him because he is light. So you only have status effect immunity against the colors you're strong against. So as I said earlier, just be careful of those. All right, now let's talk about the medal recommendations. Now I'm trying to mix this up and give you guys a little bit better ideas and kind of do different things. Obviously, I will always leave the Kaido set on there because it is just far too strong. But I really like things like this knockback heal Luffy. We have the Charlotte family's pretty good for attackers overall. And then this new one, we actually got this new event, Luffy Lucci Medal. So if you're able to get that, I do recommend this set. You can kind of take it two different ways. You can take it with the CP0, which I think is the lesser of the two. Probably not as good as the one to the right of it, which is that Luffy one. You have the Gear 5 Luffy Medal, which a lot of people have Gear 5. If you don't have him, he is a fantastic unit to have because he's just overall kind of a good unit. We'll see. He's falling out of the meta at this point of this video, so if you're watching this way down the line, he's probably really out of the meta, but just be careful of that. And then you have the original Egghead Luffy. They do have the Egghead tag, so that's an option right there. Kaido set, as always, just can't not have it. But the one set that I think that is really shining through with the addition of the Seraphims, and we're going to get more Seraphims because there's still, what, like 3 or 4 more to have? I think we have S Shark, S Flamingo, S Gecko, and S Croc. So we have 4 more Seraphims. I think they have some really solid, like, good sets. So if you're planning on summoning on Seraphims, or you have the current ones that exist, this is a pretty solid set that you can run. It comes with damage reduction, damage increase, stuff like that on that. And it has full triple tags because they're all matching tags as well. The other ones might not have the Egghead tag. We'll see. Who knows? But I think overall this one's really good. So that's an option if you're, since you have Esper, you're probably watching this video if you have Esper, so you at least have the Esper medal secured. So overall, that's my medal recommendations for you guys. I hope that you found this helpful, or at least one person out there. Let me know if I missed anything or if you guys have any questions. I will be sure to try and answer them to the best of my ability. But without further ado, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to check me out on Twitch, Twitter, Discord. I am always streaming, not usually One Piece, but I always stream on Twitch, so different games. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And that's all I have for you guys. So leave a like, sub if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later. Yeah, holy! Peace, beautiful people.